Keep it all into the Patreons. Actually. Get that pre-show.
Yeah, probably should
That
actually.
wouldn't be bad.
Probably should. Probably
Just
should.
take it.
Yeah, here's 40.
Only-
Here's 40. Do what you want with it.
Here's American Pie on video. Great film.
Yes, if you haven't noticed, we are back.
Here's new
This is
tag team champion Finn Balor.
Can't believe he didn't win I can't believe he didn't beat Seth Rollins. Absolute criminal stuff. Stuff.
Oh, I mean, someone wrote it, so you can believe it.
Oh no!
Oh,
Yeah,
here,
that's what I
here-
mean. That's
oh,
what's,
here we
that's
go.
what's ridiculous, Jacko. They could have just wrote him to win it, and they didn't.
That's why it's frustrating.
That's what's ridiculous. That's why people get more angry than that in real sport. You're like, you could have just made him champion.
Yeah, it's true, I suppose. But
So
yeah,
this is the
isn't it?
maximum. This is the
If you
maximum
could just
wrestling
make India and
podcast.
Pakistan the final, you'd make it the final.
Yeah, I suppose you would. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
They
like the
just
NBA.
throw
It's like how the NBA's. It's
yeah.
like how the NBA's fixed. You know, if you can get the Lakers in the playoffs, that's what you do, and that's what happens.
yeah.
Yeah.
If they're not, you come up with a play-in tournament. Imagine that. India are finishing fifth. We're just going to have a fourth and fifth playoff to see who finishes fourth, actually. We just come up with it.
I mean, that's why they changed. That's why they changed their World Cup, and that's why they reduced numbers, because in 2007, India missed out, and then they were like, "Well, we can't have that again. Like, that's going to cost us so much money.
Yeah,
We
Genuine,
need them
probably
in.
billions. Yeah,
Yeah, can't be doing that." So this is the Maximum Wrestling / Cricket / Conspiracy podcast. This is the Patreon Power Play, the show powered by our Patreons. It's short, it's full of action, and it is episode 10 episode 10 today. Another fantastic Power Play episode for our faithful Patreons. We discuss the most important number in all sports, perhaps the number 10. We remember the great Heath Streak and what we remember from his incredible career growing up. And lastly, we have another World Cup top 10 as we build up to the World Cup in just a month's time. But first, the number 10 is to be celebrated in cricket, lads. As a batsman, there is no better feeling, I repeat, no better feeling than reaching double figures. It means you can almost claim a start. Lugsy, what does the number 10 mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, it was just a number I quite often didn't get to in the cricketing world. And as an opening batter, that's not good. That's not what you want. But yeah, big number in sport, obviously.
off the field too.
Yeah, yeah.
No one
very
gets
few
10.
tens in my arsenal. Yeah, very few tens floating around Lugsy, I'll tell you that. But but obviously big number. A big number, especially I think over here, because it's a big number in rugby. Like when you've got a big 10, like when you've got a DC 10, that's big. Obviously in football, probably the second greatest ever has worn the jersey. Obviously we've got Ronaldo first, and then the great Pelé from Brazil wore 10. He's in number 2. So yeah, big number. It's a big number.
Where does Messi rank for you?
Well, it's hard because I don't know. We don't have a lot of. We've only got, I think, 40 minutes on the pod here, so it's going to be hard to rank all the players ahead of him.
Big Sachin, number 10.
Yeah,
Sachin.
huge.
Arguably the most
Speaking of
popular
number
player
10,
ever.
big for tail enders too, the number 10, because it is so much better than batting 11. Like, it's not even close to how much better it is. Like, it's tenfold, excuse the pun, but it is so much better batting 10 than Jack.
Would you say that there's any more pressure batting 10, or because it feels like 10 and 11 are both tail enders, but if you get to 9, there's suddenly a little bit more pressure that you have to hold a stick.
Yeah, especially but if you bat 10 and get out and then you lose, you actually can go off, take your kit off, and then come back out for handshake. The amount of times I've been the last wicket and you've just got to fucking stand there, helmet off, and shake some hands, it's depressing. So, 10's way better. You're not the last wicket. If there's a set better, then you'll go out. You'll probably go out next, and you can just be I'll do your best number 11, and then try my best. Sorry, lads. So 10 is way better than 11.
Since this is since this is the Rugby World Cup, the Rugby World Cup is starting in a week, and number 10, like our first five is obviously like the playmaker as such. How can anyone suggest that Dan Carter's not the best 10 ever? Like, I know this isn't a rugby podcast, but like, he's so good in every way, like the perfect 10.
There's no one better. He really
Simply
is.
not.
I mean, Canterbury's finest, New Zealand's finest. Wilkinson kicked a few goals, but Carter's the best of all time.
First of all, the World Cup actually starts tomorrow, which is unreal. And second of all, since we're recording Friday,
it's got to drop Friday. So,
and second of all, you can't tell me that DC being dangerously good looking didn't add to his legacy.
Well, the Adidas, the jockey stuff, the jockey ads.
The jockey stuff just brought all sorts of fans in, didn't it?
How popular were jockeys growing up?
Yeah.
Like, well, if you're that good looking, it must be, that's just one thing you're not worried about when you go out to play, is it? You're like, worst case scenario, I come off the field, I still look, man.
Yeah, I've still got my six-pack out in those jockey ads. Like,
that's just worst case. So, no.
Worst case, I have a howl and I look good on the billboard. Yeah, better than that.
Would he be a 10? Like, just like looks-wise? Dan Carter a 10-10, like a looks-wise?
Oh, he'd be a genuine 10.
Some people say there's no such thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
There you go.
Pretty close. He'd be pretty close. Johnny Wilkinson's not bad. Johnny Wilkinson's not bad.
Yeah.
In his prime Johnny.
He's a very English
Johnny.
good looking, isn't he?
Yeah,
classic schoolboy, sort of blonde hair.
Alistair Cook, good looks sort of thing.
Yeah. Going to be an interesting transition into our next topic here, Munter.
Yeah, maybe I didn't line these topics up as well as I could have, but I'll do my best for the transition. So, unfortunately, it's been a sad week. Heath Streak no longer with us. It was confirmed by his wife Nadine on social media. The 49-year-old had lost his long battle with cancer. The big Zimbabwean all-rounder was a huge presence for Zimbabwe in their heyday in the 90s. He played 65 tests, took 216 wickets at an average of 28. He also averaged 22 with the stick, 189 matches in the one-day format, where he took 239 poles at under 30 also. Probably just shy of Jacko's era, but I think Lugsy and myself, Heath Streak, a big presence for us as a nipper watching the Cats, because we played Zimbabwe a lot back in the day.
That's it. Yeah, that's it really. I think anyone sort of around my age, that 30-ish sort of number, anywhere up to probably, your 40s, like, as you said, I think the big one of why sticks out for a lot of us so much over here is because they were like sort of how Bangladesh or Sri Lanka became for us recently. They're here every summer without fail. The Zimmers were here. And it was sort of one of those, like, he was genuinely gun. Like, it was almost like if you get him and the Flowers, you get them out of the way, you'll probably beat Zimbabwe. And it was always niggly because we weren't that strong, but we were like stronger than Zimbabwe, expected to win. But they could always, if one of them showed up, you were like, shit, they could beat you. There was one game in particular, I think from memory, he came out because he was handy enough with the stick, obviously pretty strong opening bowler, and then very handy with the stick, and sort of just got Zimbabwe home against us. And I just remember, like, I wouldn't say tears, but we were very close at that age. Very close to tears when the Cats lost a close one. So, yeah, just formidable age of watching cricket with Big Heath running in and, the big powerful all-rounder.
I think to take your wickets at under 30 means you're a genuine sort of operator with the ball. And considering like Zimbabwe, they don't have the depth. They definitely didn't have depth back then. So it was definitely like okay, get through Heath Streak's opening spell. If you get through him, you can sort of cash in later on. So for him to still take poles at pace sort of shows how good he sort of was.
Oh, he was genuine heart and soul of their side. Yeah. Like, yeah, very handy with the ball and then very handy low order runs with the stick.
And I wanted to put in perspective like how good Heath Streak was on the international stage. And I sort of tied into this sort of game called More or Less, where I'm going to name a bowler and you've got to tell me if they've had more or less international wickets than Heath Streak. Now, for context, Heath Streak, 455 wickets, ODIs and Test cricket. Okay, so
it's a lot of poles.
It's a lot more poles than you think, and it will just sort of put in perspective the company. I guess he's around. So my first one, Dennis Lilly.
Less. Lilly was less wickets.
Lilly.
Yeah, how many? He's just going to lack a few ODI wickets, isn't he?
Well, that's the
Lily's
thing.
up around 300
What are you locking in?
bowls, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the all-time greats. So Lily's actually taken 3 more wickets than Heath Streak. So it's very, very tight.
Yeah.
Not many at all. Shoaib Akhtar. Played all formats.
Yeah, Akhtar probably a couple more. I'm going to say 10 more for Akhtar.
Lugsy?
But 455 for Akhtar, and he took a lot of poles, but surely took a couple of hundred each, and then I'll go slightly over.
He was less. So he took 444 wickets. So Heath Streak had him by 11. And Heath Streak only played about 30 more games of cricket. So that's one I didn't quite see coming. Speaking of coming, Pat Cummins.
Blue chew.
I thought we were going to run a blue chew.
It would have been a perfect sequence. Just a wee blue chew ad, just in the smack bang in the middle.
Imagine thinking you could just say that with these idiots around and expect it just to,
speaking of coming, blue chew, your chewable best friend. Cummins, I'm going to say less as of now.
Yeah, he's probably he'll be getting up there already, though, isn't he?
He'll be I think he's just over 400, but I don't know if he's played that much to be 450.
Yeah, he's at 418. So slightly under. He hasn't played many games. That's sort of the kicker there. Kagiso Rabada.
I'll say Rabada's a bit more.
Lugsy, what do you think?
I'll go slightly under just still.
It was over, so he's at 475. So he takes a lot of poles. He does.
He's
very close to 500, Rabada.
Yeah, 475 even.
25 in fact.
25 away, yeah.
He's a lot of poles.
That's So we're talking all-time greats. So I'll go one more to just sort of put in perspective. Ishant Sharma.
Wow, that's an underrated player, just quietly.
That's an underrated player. Oh, I just remember that.
How many Sharma got?
Who's Sharma less?
Yeah, I'll go. It's just got to be less. But for Sharma to be even up around 400s,
been around a long time. 14-year career.
Yeah, he has. He has.
Maybe more than. I don't know. No, I'll stay with less for Sharma. Just 452.
Yeah, I'll go just less.
He's at 434. So, that sort of puts in perspective how good the great man Heath Streak was.
I'll tell you one thing as well. I'm just looking at his numbers against Singh, like just to how I said we played him a lot. He played Australia in 3 tests and he played New Zealand in 11. So we were seeing a lot of Heath. That's why I've got good memories of the great man.
Probably why his record wasn't too bad either, to be fair.
Yeah.
Really cash in
They
against
actually played Australia more. He just said no thanks. So I'll meet you in New Zealand.
Bit of top 10 action, some more World Cup stats for you. Gonna do most runs at a single World Cup campaign. Okay, so I'll give you somewhat of a hint. 7 of these were in the last 2 World Cups. So that gives you a little bit of perspective. Wow. And the oldest was the 2003 World Cup.
2003?
Yeah, that's the oldest one on this top 10 rankings. Yeah. Okay. So
was that
3 lives?
World Cup?
3 lives. When you're ready.
Well, Kane then, because Kane was top the last one.
Kane is, yes, he was. So he's on this list, 578, which is 3, 4, 5. He is 6. He was 6, but I will add, he was player of the tournament. He was in the top runs getter of that tournament.
Yeah. Sorry, you're right. 578 in a single tourney is high, isn't it?
Yeah, average of 82.
To only be 6th as well.
Yeah. Who had Monster World Cups last year? A few years ago. Yeah, a lot of them.
Butler? Crom, do we reckon Butler had a big one?
Yeah, I'm just going through the English side of my head. It's got to be a couple of them potentially. Yeah, Butler seems.
There were 5 guys from the 2019 World Cup.
Yeah. I think Butler.
Butler is not on the list.
Jeez.
Thank you. Can I go back? Is Ponting on?
Ponting not on the list. Surprisingly not.
We might need a few. I'm just trading the option here. So we're going to have to really thank you.
We've got
one life left. I reckon from that 19 World Cup, like Roy and Bairstow have got to be on there, don't they?
Whoa. I don't like chucking out
whoa. Okay, I'll give you some nationalities. I'll make it a little bit easier. So you've got 2 Indians, you've got 2 Australians.
Is this the whole list?
Is the whole list?
Tendulkar, the old one on the shoulders.
Yeah, Tendulkar 600. He's the top. He's 673 runs in the 2003 World Cup. So he's your top of the pops. You've got a Bangladeshi, you've got 1 Englishman, and you've got 2 Kiwis, but you've obviously already got 1, and you've got 2 Sri Lankans.
Okay.
Do you reckon Crom Guptill's on there, that World Cup he's called the double 100?
I mean, if you get 200 and we made the final, surely.
Yeah. Guptill was on the list. So he made the most runs of that 2015 World Cup. So he's at your number 9.
That's a good guess.
9.
Only because he didn't play as many matches. He didn't play as many matches as some others.
Yeah. Sri Lankans surely can only be like your Jay Wardners or your Sangakaras, not locking them up.
Both of that. Jay Wardner and Sangakara both on the list. So Jay Wardner 07, 548. Sangakara, this is a massive. So he only played 7 matches, and he's 10th, 541 runs, average of 108. Remember when he made 4 consecutive hundreds?
Sangakara is an all-time stick.
Yeah, good for me to finally get him on one of these lists too. Been a while.
As soon as you say Sri Lankans, it just sort of lights them up, eh?
If a Sri Lankan list isn't just Sangakkara or Chaminda I'm out of options.
So you've got two Australians. They're both opening bats. You've got a Bangladeshi. You've got one more.
Can I ask?
What was that?
Opening
Lugsy?
sticks. So it's got to be. Is the opening stick going back a bit? One of them.
One of them's from the 07 World Cup, and one of them's from the 2019 World Cup.
Oh.
It can only be Warner, Hayden, or Gilchrist.
Yeah, it's got to. One's got to be Warner.
Warner's one of them. Warner's one of them.
Yeah, it's got to be Warner.
So he's your 4.
Who else is open for them? It can only be like
Yeah, if we're talking 07,
yeah,
Hayden or
Haydos,
Gilchurch, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got to be Hayden.
It is Hayden.
Brilliant.
Hayden averaged 73, so he's your 2. So that means you've got your number 3, which was the most runs in the 2019 World Cup. You've got a Bangladeshi, also from the 2019 World Cup, an Englishman from the 2019 World Cup, and that's your list.
Who's the nationality on the number 3?
Indian.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Indian. That's probably going to be Rohit, doesn't it, Crom?
It is Rohit.
I was going to say he's had some massive ODI.
I think he got. Did he hit 500s in that tournament? I swear he hit a lot of them.
He's a serious one.
I seen this stupid stat where they were like, it was
that's too many.
It was the one day game against Pakistan. It was like his Rohit's recent ODIs scores against Pakistan. And the most recent one was from the 2019 World Cup where he made 100, and then it goes back from there. And then the question was like, can Rohit continue his great form? Mate, it's been 4. How can you continue like your run of form when it's been 4 years in between?
Honestly, that is one thing that grinds me sometimes. But yet somehow it works. Like when they're like, this will be 10th year in a row where the Roosters are beating this side, and you're like, hang on, this is 10 like pretty different sides now. But yet somehow those stats do carry over sometimes, which is ridiculous. But
4 years and it's like one day internationals. Like they've played, he's been rocked in a T20 a couple of times, but like he's in good ODI form.
So what have we got left? A Bangladeshi and an Englishman.
A Bangladeshi and an Englishman. They're both from the 2019 World Cup.
I feel like we just go safe here and go the best player. Go Joe Root.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout.
Joe Root, ding, ding, ding.
Wow.
Yeah,
one to go. This could be one of the all-time. This could be one of the all-time turnarounds. Probably the easiest one to get, almost.
It's got to be Shakib, doesn't it? Crom?
Yeah,
I was going to say it's
Shakib.
I really had Mohammed Ashraful or nothing for a long time with Bangladesh. You get Ashraful, you get him early, you get Bangladesh.
He was like Heath Streak for a minute there.
He was genuinely good player. Yeah, that's good list.
Good list. You guys, what a clutch performance that was. 2 down early.
Jeez, we were down early. Yeah,
you're really down early. I may have helped you along the way a little bit, but take nothing away. You should be very proud of your performance today, lads. Another top 10 in the books. Who's just while you got me? Who's most likely from this World Cup to crack that 10?
Probably genuinely there'll be more than one, I reckon. Oh, is there more games now? Or we're back?
It's basically the same as 2019, so it could be a few. Yeah, Bubba's a good one.
Does Coley have one last Tendulkar in him?
Yeah, surprisingly, it's surprising not to see Coley on that list.
It is. It is. Yeah.
Some big names not on it, like a Steve Smith even.
Yeah, Ponting. I was surprised he wasn't on there.
I suppose those early World Cups were a bit
especially,
shorter, weren't they?
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
because
the
he got
thing.
140. He got 140 in a final. You think
Yeah.
you bagged 300 and 400 from
Yeah,
elsewhere
obviously the
somewhere.
donuts pre there.
Mm. We won't see Guptill back on the list, to be fair to say.
Nah.
There could
I
be,
reckon Conway could be a shout.
yeah, far out. It
Conway's
feels
a
like
good
the
one.
way that'd be nice.
He's playing
Conway's
a
a
lot of
real
cricket
good
in
one.
The
India.
way
Our Finn.
Yeah, Finn. Yeah,
that would be
very
something.
handy.
I'd put him at
Maybe
long
a
odds, but
Bairstow. Tell you who would be an
yeah,
outside chance would be
Bairstow.
Harry Brook if he was going to the World Cup.
yeah,
Stokes?
he won't be on it this time.
Nah, I don't reckon Stokes has got 500 in him.
Nah, he's like a one-off.
He's
A
got
one-off
80 in the
final,
final, but
Yeah.
I think Coley could have a big year again.
So your
Just
Mitchie
like
Hayes
six
is on
scores
like
of
20,
70.
20 knot at the moment. 20 red at the moment. Oh, Mitchie Hay.
Mike Mitchell.
Yeah.
Friend of the show.
Big friend of the show. We'll get him on. Get him on. Anything else you want to
We'll
touch
have
on?
to
Should we
get
wrap her up?
Nah, good to wrap.
Good to wrap. Right, Eminem.
Speaking
That's
of rapping,
nice,
the Patreon brought to you by Jury.
Oh, actually, for the Patreons, if you do have a guest, like a white whale sponsor, I've got a good feeling that we can get them. So, sing out.
We are cooking
Yeah.
at the moment, so
Absolute fire. Right, that's us for another week. Power Play 10 in the books. If you are here on YouTube, like and subscribe. And if you want the audio only for when you're out and about and you just can't have your YouTube open, you don't have your YouTube premium, you want to sort of close your phone, check out patreon.com/maximum cricket. Thanks to Jacko and Lugsy as always, and I'll catch you all next week.
Yeah, just
get you.